Good evening, my movie-loving brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, where we like to talk about all things movies, movie news, and other screen-related stuff. I'm, of course, your humble host, Key Toothman. I am joined today by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Trevor Vincent Farney. Trevor, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I spent some time getting caught up on some very important things that we are going to discuss later. In a few minutes, actually. So I'm doing good.
Yeah, for sure. And also the weather's getting nicer.
Thank God.
Especially at night. It's like cool finally.
My little brothers came up from Tennessee, and some of them have been down there for a while, and they kept being like, dude, it's like not, it's warm down in Tennessee, but they're like, it is boiling hot up here. It's just, because, I mean, it was like just weeks and weeks in a row of like well over 100, and it's like oddly humid in Kansas, so it just sticks to you. And God, I'm already a ginger, so I'm just ready. It's just no good.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, guys, we are back. It's been a few months, man. Is this our Allison? It's been a few months since we have had a live stream. I did do some out-of-theater reviews here and there, but ever since the strike started, pretty much, I haven't seen a movie, haven't been in the studio. I had to fucking clean most of this out just for us to get in here. I mean, we're also in the process of moving. We did just put in another offer on a property just today, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, but this is the studio. Welcome in everybody that is new. Usually we stream, in the morning or in the afternoon, not at midnight. So anybody that would normally be here probably isn't going to be here, but I'm glad to have you guys here, Allison and Trevor. You'll find this interesting. Someone I met on Whatnot, her name is Allison. She's actually my virtual wife, and yeah, she's a gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, amazing young lady. And turns out she teaches karate for a living, which is like already cool in itself. Okay. But kid you not, the guy that she works for is the guy that played Scorpion in the original Mortal Kombat movie. Chris Cosmo. Right? Chris Cosmo is the fucking boss, bro. Right? So, yeah, I sent her some Funko Pops for Chris to sign for us. So, I'm super excited and stoked. That's amazing.
Allison, we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
In existence.
That's boss, man. Yeah, I mean, he's also, like, you got to look him up because dude's, like, he's the man you want to be, you know what I mean? Like, he's what we're all aiming for, but most of us aren't going to land there. But, some of us are going to give it our best.
We're sure as heck aiming for it.
But, yeah, that's super exciting, and that's some pretty cool little interesting news. But, yeah, so we can add to our autographs from actors and actresses in the room. We have Shelley Duvall and Edward Furlong's autograph up behind me on the Forest Hills poster.
I also signed one of the posters. He told me not to, but I just went ahead and did it. So mine's up there as well.
But yeah, guys, anyway, we are going to be just kind of chilling, hanging out, vibing, since this is kind of literally a stream I'm doing for just you guys, basically to kind of see what I do, get adjusted, and maybe you guys can come in and hang out with us whenever we get back to like really going, which hopefully is soon. Hopefully the strike ends so we have stuff to talk about. That's something me and Trevor talked about is the other thing about not just standing, strong and tall with IATSE in the strike, but is also like what is there to talk about if no one's doing. I mean, today in movie news, strike, I mean, it's literally daily right now for 3 months. So yeah, not a lot to talk about. So this stream is us just kind of hanging out, vibing, chilling, like I said, so you guys get a glimpse of the show, kind of how things work. And yeah, so with that being said, guys, we do have a channel membership. And if you see like in the chat where my name has a star next to it, I think if you click on that, or if you click on the about and go down to membership, you can join there for as little as like $2 or $3. But yeah, we appreciate all the support. It goes a long way. So with that down, let's go ahead and jump into one of our first main topics today. And our first main topic today is this. 1P is a win for Netflix.
That's a good thing.
And I'm telling you, this is the truth. So a few days ago, so I have a cousin, Matt, if you're there, I know you're not. You're sleeping because you have hard work to do in the morning. But I have a cousin that's been trying to get me to watch One Piece pretty much since I've known that he's existed. And he's like, every time I see him, he's like, bro, I'm on episode like 3,274 now. Shit's getting crazy, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, I will never know. That is like the last thing I want to get myself into, especially if it's good, right? Because I'll do it. Like,
Right.
don't you tempt me with a good time. I'll do it. 3,674. And, but yeah. So after a while of knowing about this live action coming out, you know, he's been excited about it. The trailer came on about a couple of weeks ago. I finally, you know, I hardly ever get to see my cousin Matt anymore because, you know, we're so busy and we're adulting, you know, and we have wives and things. But anyways, I set him down and we put on the trailer, and I'd actually already watched it like a couple times before he got there, but he had never seen it. And after the trailer played, you know, keep in mind, he's a One Piece fan. He's like, I was like, what'd you think? He's like, oh, man, it was pretty good. Like, it looked like very accurate to the anime and all this shit. And I was like, really, bro? Because honestly, like, I laughed at it. The first, like, couple times I watched it, it was, like, laughable. It was laughably bad. And he's like, no, like, that's kind of really how it is. Like, it may be unusual and quirky, but that's just how it is. And finally, I got a chance to sit down and throw on an episode of this. I tried to wait out for Matt. I couldn't do it because I was excited. I was hearing murmurs that this was, like, maybe the best, like, live-action show that Netflix has ever made. So I threw it on, and I was hooked. I watched through, what is it, 8? Is it 8 episodes?
It's 8
I watched through all 8 episodes in one day, and, man, I love this series. It's definitely in the upper echelon of Netflix series. It's top tier, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Like, for me, personal taste-wise, I'll still take the Sandman.
Yeah,
I'll still take the Sandman. In fact, there's, like, episode 4 or 5, I can't remember what it is, of Sandman was literally, like, one of the best episodes of television I've seen in so long. So, but yeah, there's a few things. I mean, there's some seasons of Stranger Things that are very just now iconic and just hard to compete with. But it's up there. It's in those discussions. It really is. And then if we're talking about adaptations, like, you know, they did Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that, it's better than all of that. I mean,
no comparison.
Death Note. I mean, come on. These things weren't even, laughable. All very bad stuff. So, yeah, this is a must-see. This is must-see TV. I know for me, it was a little quirky in the beginning, but once I adapted myself to the world and the reality that we were in, it was easier for me to really sink into it. And what I mean by that is, you know, you have to suspend disbelief, just like Marvel or anything else. You have a fucking dude that turns into a giant green monster is pretty out there, but once you're in that world and it establishes the rules of the world and you start to understand it, you're like, okay, this makes sense. You know, there is rules. I mean, the big giant green thing lost to a big giant purple thing at some point. So there's, you know,
Right. They know how the rules work, though.
Yeah, and once you do, it's easier to sink into. So give it a chance. Finish that first episode, and I think once you do, you'll be hooked. So I had Trevor sit down. I know he got into a few episodes, and I'll get to your thoughts just real quick. But I do want to say that I think I struggled really a lot with picking who I thought was my favorite character. Like, I really think the character of Monkey comes off really close to the anime from the things that I have seen. And it just, God, he's so likable. He's just such a likable character. But think about the depth of all these characters. Honestly, Sanji, I think, or Sanji, whatever you want to call him, may be my favorite character. Think about his story. He's stranded with the fucking cook pirate who leaves him all of the food Dude eats his own leg. I mean, I know you haven't seen all of this shit yet, but you'll get to it. These characters have depth. For you, how about what's his name? The kid with the 3 swords.
Oh yeah, Zorro.
Yeah, Zorro. There's a perfect one. Like,
What a great character that
look
is.
at the depth. Like, have you gotten to the part where they've showed some of the reason why he has 3 swords and stuff like that?
Very vaguely.
Like, you've seen shots of him as a kid. No, okay, all right. Well,
I just finished episode 3.
oh, 3. I thought you said 4. Okay, yeah. So I think it happens episode 4. So yeah. But yeah, you'll get some amazing backstory to these characters that you're just like, fuck. I don't even know. I don't even begin to know. I mean, and yeah, and it's difficult to pick a favorite character. But you know, after checking it out, Trevor, 3 episodes. I know it's not a ton in, and that's why we put this as the first topic. But what do you think,
dude? I mean, it's like you said, when I first saw any kind of promotional content, the trailer, I was just like, this thing looks like another just trash adaptation of anime. Like, it was like I mean, you know, there was, for a long time they couldn't do it with superhero movies, and they couldn't really do it with, you know, video game movies, and they've really struggled to make anything of anime type of movies either, you know. But I guess like the other ones, they just keep trying. Eventually one will get there. And this one, like, I mean, and it's funny, like, even watching it, my brain, it looks like the weird, like crappy versions of anime that anime adaptations we've gotten before, like the way it's shot and the way it almost feels and is costumed and stuff like that. So like my brain keeps going, oh, you're watching something dumb. And then like, but then the writing and the acting and like the direction and more than anything, how serious everyone really takes this world. You're immediately bought over by it, and then you kind of just settle into it, and it's just so fun. Like there's the world itself is so. I texted my little brother Ethan, who has become a very big One Piece fan as well, and he's watching the show, and he's like, dude. The thing that's so cool about One Piece is it's a show. It's a true show about pirates. It's what we all wanted to be as kids. We all wanted to go just get out there and be free and do whatever the hell we wanted to do. And that's what like the essence of this show is.
It's literally why Sea of Thieves is so popular, right? You know what Sea of Thieves is?
Is that is it like a game?
It is. It's a game where you literally get online with like, you know, how many ever of your buddies can fit on a fucking pirate ship?
Oh, my God.
A lot. You can pick different sizes of ships. And you guys just sail around in the sea, discovering shit, fighting other pirate ships. There's no, like, method to the madness. It is that. Yeah, right?
I'd play the absolute daylights out of it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right?
Right. Well, that's the appeal of this show. It's like, and it is so cognizant of that fact. And then I think this is kind of a trademark of anime is the deep characterizations that these things have. Like I've only you said about watching One Piece. I feel this way about anime in general. Is that as much like I realize and respect how much talent and work is in anime. It's just like I know how much time getting into that medium is going to take away from my life. So I've always kind of like, you know, stepped away from it. But now I've actually started to, I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and now I'm almost through Shippuden. So, you know, I've started to actually get into there. And I mean, the anime they have time to sit and like tell really, really, really interesting character arcs. And I mean, I'd say, and this is of course a shorter overall time frame to do it in, but man, they've already set up such interesting and various characters in this thing. Like, and I think one of the most important things to building any kind of fantasy world is, do they know the rules and do they follow the rules of their fantasy world? Because if the rules are not followed within the frame of the world, then the whole world falls apart. And they clearly follow the quirky little strange rules, and they clearly know all of the rules and the politics and the ins and outs of the way this world works.
Of One Piece, I forget his name. but he was involved like heavily.
You can feel it. I mean,
Yeah. But
there's
that's not always a
love.
great sign.
That's true.
Like the M. Night movie with the creators from Avatar: The Last Airbender. They were on set and heavily involved in that film. How'd that work out? You know, so it's not always a good sign. Right. But in this case, it was.
Right. And you can feel, you can just feel the love for that show. I mean, it's like, I think the difference maybe of this show versus a lot of the other ones is like, it sometimes feels like they never watched the show that they are really, essentially at that point ripping off. They never have seen it at all. And so it's just kind of like they patch together things that they've heard from other people about the show. But this show, like, you can tell that the people that made it knew that show, and they knew these characters, and they drew out the essence of these characters and kept that essence while still making it a film, like something you can film instead of something that's just on cartoon, while still keeping an element of that stylization. Because like there's the butler character who's the black pirate dude, like his face is like, it just looks like an anime character. Like it's just a little bigger and like self-serious in such a like cartoonish way, but it still feels real. So and it just walks that line so very well. And I can't stress enough how like shocked I was at how good it is. And that's not to take away, like, it's not just because I was shocked that it's great. It's also great. Like, it's a genuinely amazing show. So I'm glad you like messaged me like, dude, no. You should watch this because we're gonna talk about it tonight. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it, whatever. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It's a kick-ass show, guys. If you haven't had a chance to check out the live-action One Piece on Netflix, definitely do. Give it a try and let me know what you guys think. I see that Allison brought up Inuyasha. Is there a live action of that? I don't think there's a live action of that, is there?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. But I'm not like super into all
Gibbies. Yeah, Meryl's chasing the Gibbies. Yep. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. All right. Let's move on to our second main topic today. And our second main topic today is this. Now I get to use the graphic. Bam! Shit just got scary. But yeah, so, we're coming up on a year ago that I started the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel. And one of the first things we talked about was our favorite October or Halloween movies. So October's my favorite month of the year, hands down. If I could live it over and over and over again all year long, I would do it until I was numb. And I would have to do it wearing my white pants the whole year. And and during October, I binge horror movies like crazy, like 2 to 3 horror movies a day, like all the Freddys, all the Jasons, all the, Halloweens, all the Michael Myers, whatever you want to call them, all the Chuckies, every single thing. And then like things that are classic to me, The Shining and different stuff. And then just like random shit that I'll see that I'm like, yeah, this looks terrible. Like, I don't know why, but during October, I'm just like, fucking give me all that shit. And I never get tired of it. So, yeah, one of the first things we talked about was horror movies. So, I wanted to use this since I got some of you guys in here. There's 5 of you guys in here at least. And I was hoping that, we could talk a little bit about some of our favorite horror films. So, I'm going to start off with, we'll go back and forth. And, okay. This is a loose top 5 because neither one of us had real time to get anything together about this. So very, very loose. But I'm going to start with one of the most iconic and classic horror movies and one of the greatest movies of the 70s, and that's John Carpenter's Halloween. I believe Halloween 1 is one of the definitive greatest, not only just horror movies, but movies ever made. And it set the path forward that is today what we know as Michael Myers, right? I mean, there was just a trilogy recently. We haven't seen Freddy in 10 years. We haven't seen, or over 10 years, in over a decade. And we haven't seen Jason in over a decade. But Michael lives on and lives strong. And I think that's because if you really get to the core of all three of those original movies, Halloween is a good movie. And the other ones are like good horror movies. And there's a difference between those things. So I'm going to kick it off with what I would consider, maybe I would argue, is potentially the greatest horror movie all time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. But I'm going to say Halloween. So Trevor, I'm going to kick it over to you. Give me your, what are you going to start with? What's number one for you?
Man. Well, I'll kind of counter a sort of classic one. A classic slasher one. I'll kind of give my favorite classic slasher film. It's one of the Freddys, but it's not Freddy 1. It's not even Freddy 3. It's Freddy 6. I love the New Nightmare.
New Nightmare.
New Nightmare is one of like I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of the whole Freddy series is fun, but something about that one, like it hits home so hard, and it's so weird and strange, and it's like such a bizarre twist on that idea I mean it's so well done. You could tell in the movie's all about it too. It's about like how the franchise was a way to like kind of like spotlight an evil that's in the world, and then of course the evil kind of like it's because of the nature of evil, it kind of almost perverts the thing that was holding it. So then, you know, it's Wes Craven coming back, very inspired with a cool new idea, and they kill it. It's such a cool, strange concept of Freddy like existing in the real world and coming out and fucking with the people that made it. Love it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really hard for me. I think that probably really is like, especially like technically and like and story. No, I don't know. It's probably the best Freddy movie, but. 3 Dream Warriors.
Warriors
God,
great,
it's
bro.
hard.
Great.
It's between those two though.
I love
it's definitely
Dream
between
Warriors.
those two.
Yeah.
I know a lot of
Plus
people that would say
Patricia Arquette, which is
right.
nice.
I know a lot of people say 1, but I mean, man,
I love 1.
New Nightmare is definitely is. There's very few things that are that good.
I was shocked at how much I liked that.
But yeah, okay. I'm gonna go to next. I'm gonna go more sci-fi, but definitely horror, and that's Alien.
Oh,
the first Alien movie
yeah.
is one of my favorite movies. This is more of a suspense thriller type of horror, which, you know, honestly, I gave Halloween, so it's kind of a pattern of what I like, I guess, right? Because I do like that on the edge of your seat feeling more than I like, you know, visceral horror, you know, like Saw. I love the Saw movies, but not the way I love Halloween and Alien. But yeah, I mean, Alien, you got Sigourney Weaver, you got like classic, some of the best, Ridley Scott. It's the greatest Ridley Scott movie ever made. I don't care what anyone else says.
Some good ones.
And yeah, and there's The Martian, which actually won him an Academy Award.
Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Movie.
But yeah, there's been some bad ones in there. Let's not talk about
Yeah.
it. But yeah. So I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I really love. I have an obsession with isolation films, like where people are stuck somewhere or they can't get off of an island or a place or whatever it is. You know, like Gravity with Sandra Bullock or
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, you know, something like that. You know, I'm obsessed with films like that, and this checks that box. And then I'm obsessed with space. Always have been obsessed with all things space. You give me a movie, any movie, it's fucking way cooler in space. And that's why all these movies now, Trevor, and you know this, that's why that is like the final ultim, you know, the ending, right? Like they're like, oh, we're going to do Fast and the Furious 27. What are we going to do now? We're going to go to space.
That's right.
Like, that's the end-all, be-all, guys. So it just proves. It's like, even fucking Mission Impossible literally said they're going to do it, and Tom Cruise was actually going to go to space and do a spacewalk, which I believe would happen because he's a fucking maniac.
Right.
And he's only like 5'1", so they probably got lots of suits that are cheap to make for that size.
Right. I mean, they could just patch together ones that they had
right,
to
just some
out
old ones, right? Yeah, just the feet from Buzz Aldrin. But anyways, So yeah, I think space makes everything better. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Alien as my second choice. What do you got on number 2, Trevor?
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna bring out Rosemary's Baby on this one. Rosemary's Baby is just such a deeply unsettling movie for so many reasons. Like, I mean, you get the sense that though he kind of paints Rosemary as like this person that's gonna be, like that you're supposed to feel like bad for that she's being impregnated by the devil's baby. By the end of it, she kind of just accepts it.
Right,
you
and
know?
at some point you're like, hey, the devil gotta have babies too, bro.
Right, and that's kind of like, and then especially when you know, like, the main evil dude is named Roman. Like, it was written by Roman Polanski, who then raped a 13-year-old. So, like, it's just, like, it's everything about, like...
And then fled the country.
That's right.
And has stayed fled, if
Yes.
that's how you say it. I don't know how you say it, but he's fled. He's flooded.
Still
He's
doing
flooding.
well, though, as he was nominated for an Oscar later.
And recently...
in
like
2000 something.
Yes.
It was Adrian Brody's, like, first...
it was in the last decade.
Yeah, I think it was, like, 2001.
While also holding the rape award.
Yes, for the most getting away of the rape on the large scale rape. But yeah, I'll tell you, like, that adds into the whole thing. Like, I mean, it's already a deeply unsettling movie, but like when you watch it, you kind of feel like you've witnessed something like genuinely evil. Like, you're like, God. And it makes me feel like horrified inside, which is exactly what I want to feel with a horror movie. So there we go. You know.
Yeah, I am, to be 1,000% honest, I don't think I've ever sat down from beginning to end and watched that whole film.
Damn.
Yeah. So I have like, same with Woody Allen, like I have this like thing where I'm just like, nope.
I get
like
it.
I will,
get it.
if it's something I'd already seen, like I'd seen the Ninth Gate before I knew that, you know. So now like I'm okay with that because like I know it. But if I go out and support something else, like because I don't own no fucking Woody Allen or Roman Polanski movie. So if I want to go watch Rosemary's Baby, I gotta rent it off fucking Vudu or Google Play or whatever. Yeah. And now that fucker is getting some sort of dollars for me to continue his behavior. Well, and I can't justify it.
Right.
But moving on. Let's see. All right, to throw out a third, I'm gonna throw us a more modern film that I actually hate the sequel of, but I do think is one of the best modern horror films, and was at once the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. You know what that is, Trevor?
The Conjuring?
Nope.
Is it Saw?
Nope.
The Passion of the Christ?
That was a horror. But no, my friend. It is, oh shit. Now I forgot what it was. What it was.
The horror movie, the highest rated.
Oh yeah. It.
Oh. Yes.
It is.
I should have guessed that.
Right.
It's so good.
It is.
Ooh,
it is so good.
But part 2 is good too.
My daughter, who most of you guys know, her name is Azazel. She is about to turn 3 this New Year's Eve. So she's 2 and 3/4 or whatever you want to call it. She's obsessed with Jason and Freddy and all that shit. And we'll watch it all the time. Like there was a point for 6 months where every day we watched every Jason movie. And like if I wouldn't put on Jason, there was hell to pay. And so I don't know what it is about it, but she could not watch that movie. Man. She could not watch. Dude. Like she can't get past, the like opening scene. If you guys have seen I'm talking about the new It movie, right? And in the opening scene, like Georgie's like playing with his boat in the rain.
Oh my god!
And Pennywise is all like, oh yeah, there's there's popcorn down here, pop 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 pop, and my daughter knows what's coming, and she'll be like, no, I can't do this. I can't watch it. The greatest part about it is she'll be like, fucking, behind the blanket, like, like, what are you doing? Do you want to see it or not, bro? But yeah, and then he, of course, he like opens up and he, latches on to Georgie and drags him into the goddamn gutter, and that's what she's seen of it. That's it. That is it. Like, immediately right after that, she'd be like, no, Daddy, I want Jason. I want Jason. And then we got to go back to Jason. So, yeah, it's a fucking terrifying movie. It really is. And it is very well made. Again, I'm not a huge fan of It 2. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it is nowhere near on that level the first movie was.
That first movie's.
But, Trevor, what do you got next?
One, I want to say it is. Yeah, that's one of the craziest.
Man, are you wild, man?
Man, and I have a funny story about it too. Is I smoked like 3 blunts with Noah before I went in to watch it too, and I was way too high, bro. Like way high. I had to turn to Noah. This thing's starting, and it's like, Pennywise is like stole some dude, and he's like munching on his half of his body or whatever, and I like turned to him like, "Is it gonna be okay, Noah?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be okay, Trevor. It's a movie." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, but the next one, I'm also gonna go with a modern one, and probably this might be still my favorite horror movie of all time, which is The Conjuring. The Conjuring is so
good.
Scary, bro, and it is so more than that, it's a fantastic film with a great cast of characters that really drives you through this. I mean, it's one of those. I mean, along with it, number one, it's one of the few like horror masterpieces out there. Like,
yeah, and the sequels, and there's the whole world they created with that. So,
yeah,
and the sequels are good. They're not The Conjuring, but they're good, man.
They're better than most horror movies.
They're up and down, yeah, for sure. Yes, they're watchable. They're go out and seeable. That's for sure. Yeah,
yeah. I saw both of those in theaters, and both of them were. I mean, they both were pretty freaking freaky, bro. I didn't get to see the original Conjuring in theaters, which is a tragedy, but I did get to see The Nun, which is the second one, which was really creepy, and The Devil Made Me Do It, I think, is the third one, and that one I saw in IMAX, which was awesome.
It was like La Llorona or whatever. Wasn't that part of it too? Man, I don't know. I feel like, or Annabelle. There was.
Annabelle.
Yeah, because Annabelle is in their closet.
Yeah.
There's like a few of them.
Yeah,
bro.
there's like 3 whole.
Like I said, there's a whole world that has been
Conjuring
created
universe.
because of that movie. So goddamn good. I mean,
right.
That is true. That's
fantastic movie.
All right, let's see here. Where do I want to go next? All right, and we'll do this. We'll do our last ones. This will be our last one. So I'm gonna make it good.
Okay. You're not gonna mention. I'm gonna mention the one that I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm probably leaving a lot of stuff out here. I mean, like I said, we didn't have time to sit down and make a real list. So if the rest of YouTube is out there watching this one day, this is just like a per time this moment basis.
There's a lot
let's
of
see.
Good ones out
So I got Halloween. I got all right. I'm gonna go way out of left field and give you guys something that you're not gonna expect, but I just can't stop thinking of, and my high brain just wants to say this is what you need to say. So, and I know that most people might argue that this is a horror, but I'm gonna go Terminator.
Oh yeah.
I think the original Terminator is for sure a horror, and it is menacing. And if you haven't seen it in a long time, I encourage you to go back and watch it, because as most of you are probably like me, what's in the back of your mind is Terminator 2. And it's always in the back of your mind because we all wanted to be fucking Edward Furlong, which I got to meet and have a drink with. Shout out to Eddie. Love you, buddy. And we all grew up more in that time. I think that it was huge, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was the hero of it. So that's kind of how we remember it. But in that first movie, he's not. He's the villain, and he's fucking, again, he's very menacing. Like, I remember this part where he gets hit in the face, and they get separated, and he's like in the mirror looking at the flesh that has fallen off his fucking robot skull, and it's all practical, man, but it just looks so real and so scary. And yeah, I know it's not the conventional horror slasher type movie, but man, it really is one of the best horror movies ever made. And it gives you that sci-fi, time travel, future, all of that shit. And again, I'm a big fan of all that. All right, Trevor, what's the one? What did I miss?
Well, I'm just going to give this an honorable mention because everyone has already talked about this one a million times, because I want to mention one more after this. It's The Shining, obviously. The Shining is like the greatest one ever. But since that's obvious,
yeah,
we're going to go with one that's less obvious, because this movie, I'm telling you, no movie has ever really scared me as much as this movie has. Like, there's never been a time in my life where I've been like, okay, it's only like 10 feet to my car from the front of my door. I can get there. There's probably no one there. I'm just being stupid.
Okay, before you say it, I just want to say, I'm high as hell when I forgot The Shining.
I know, right?
I
was looking at you, bro. I
literally went and met Shelley Duvall and talked about The Shining for hours because it's the greatest film ever made. And it's the only thing that I've ever loved. Wow. I got that good. I got that good stuff this week, guys. All right, go ahead. What is it? What's got you thinking about walking to the car, Trevor?
No one's gonna guess it, but it's the Daniel Radcliffe vehicle, A Woman in Black. That movie scared the living daylights out of me, bro. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was because I was still young, and my mom and dad were they sheltered us pretty bad on a few very specific things, like we couldn't watch Disney until we were like 13 or something, and like one of the other stipulations was that we really couldn't ever watch horror movies, and that was like kind of one of my early ones that I finally got to kind of see. And I mean, dude, I saw it in theaters. The next 3 days, I was like, I would check the back of my car. I would be looking around the bushes and shit. It was ridiculous.
Well, this is gonna be the first one on the list, and yes, Allison, that is Harry Potter. That's funny. This is how we know him.
The Daniel Radcliffe vehicle.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter, or Harry Potter is. No, I'm joking.
I now think of him as Weird Al Yankovic.
But this is going to be the first one that we've talked about that I got to be honest with you. I couldn't stand when I only seen it when it came out at the drive-in in partial rain, and I couldn't see it great, and I fucking hated it. Yeah, and because of it, I never went back to it.
Fair.
I never went back to it. And you know how those drive-in nights go. Like, it's always like, you never know what you're going to get kind of thing. Like,
sometimes it's the best night ever.
Yes, right. I mean, I seen like 5 Harry Potter films, the first 5 at the drive-in.
I saw like 4 of the
and
Fast
they were
and Furious
great.
movies there.
They were great there.
Right.
I mean, that's how I knew them. I met them there. So, but yeah, guys, what is some of your guys' favorite horror movies? We'll talk a little bit more about it here when we're done with these topics, but definitely let me know down in the comment section below. All right, with that down, we're going to move into our third main topic today. And our third main topic today is this. So one of the other things that we've been watching and I've been catching up on, Mr. P, yeah, I know you're in here, and I've been trying to get you to watch, is Ahsoka. And I'm all caught up. Trevor, I believe you're all caught up too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
4 episodes in?
Yep.
Right? And we have
halfway.
8, right?
8.
So, which is exciting. Thank you, Disney and Lucasfilm. Yeah, was no more of that 6 bullshit, Disney.
Right.
This has been like the beginning of a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is just ticking up to the top, guys. Like, we're only halfway through, and I feel like we're real close to the peak, man. Like, this show is really starting to find its legs, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying the first few episodes are bad, because they're not. But they're just, not as great as this last couple were. Like, these last couple have really progressed the story, progressed some of these characters. You know, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson, but my God, is he fucking amazing. He is an amazing actor, and the world lost, a serious talent when he passed. And him as goddamn, I forget. I want to say Bane because we've been talking about Bane so much. It's Baning himself. Baylor. Yeah. Lord Baylor or whatever his name is. Balin. Yes, thank you. There we go. Character's great. So much depth to him. You know, like I was telling Trevor, you know, and you know, no spoilers, but if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, then click away from the damn video. But there's a point where he's battling, you know, sabers with Ahsoka. And he's like telling her that all she knows is death and destruction. Like, he sees her as the villain. He sees himself as the hero. And like I was even telling Trevor, his lightsaber isn't even red. His saber and his Padawan saber are more of like a burnt orange because they're not Siths. They're not Jedis. We don't really know. And like I was telling Trevor, I really, really want to get to know more about what they are, what the path they have chosen, because again, he was a former Jedi, and we know after the fall, those Jedi were either hunted by Inquisitors or taken to become Inquisitors, and then there's the few that are like in hiding that we don't know about, but he's clearly not hiding from anyone. So yeah, it's very interesting, and I definitely want to know more. Rosario Dawson is killing it. She's amazing. She's beautiful. She's very stoic. She's very Jedi-like. She plays it exactly how you would want her to play it. You know, she has a lot of cool moments. You know, I was telling Trevor there's one where she, like, a lightsaber's flying behind her, and she's just like, she doesn't even, it's great. It really is. Like, a lot of the saber fights have been, battles have been great. The choreography's great. Some of the dialogue in the beginning was a little questionable, but it's become really good. This, again, the stuff with Ray Stevenson is great, and the stuff between him and Ahsoka is just awesome. And I want more of it. And, you know, we get this ending, where she's kind of, you know, in that world between worlds, as they call it. And Trevor, I don't know if you've ever seen Rebels, but it's where actually, I don't know. Okay, so if you don't know, then at some point, Vader battles Ahsoka and he kills her. Okay. And then Ezra finds the world between worlds, which is the place where Ahsoka woke up at the end, right? Okay. Where Anakin was? Yeah. You've seen that. Okay. Ezra goes to that place. He finds a portal where the battle is happening with Ahsoka and Vader, and he pulls her through the portal right as Vader makes his final strike onto Ahsoka. Whoa. And that's what actually saves Ahsoka's life. Okay, so that is where we are. It's called the world between worlds, and it's kind of like where, to give you like a great example of it for any of you movie buffs out there, specifically my buddy Trevor here, it's basically Nolan's Interstellar,
the fifth dimension thing.
Yes, his version of physical time, like the dimension of time, kind of. It's basically the highway of time. Yes, it is basically that. It isn't, you know, like Filoni kind of, you know, made it clear that he didn't want to say it's time travel because it's not time travel per se, but you know, whatever. Anyways, but yeah, they had a beautiful transition. I also love to see that our hero lost after all this badassery, bro. Like after all of this cool shit, she loses to Balin, right? He kicks her ass, bro. Yeah, right. And then throws the chick off the cliff, bro. Right. And leaves her for dead. Like, and we watched that. This is the show is literally called Ahsoka, guys. And we watched that happen, and I love that. I love that we see, you know, we're gonna have to see something happen here. Some growth for Ahsoka because he is stronger. He is more composed. He is more put together. He is more seasoned. Like you can just tell. Right. And honestly, what makes him truly able to beat her every time, and this is what's got to change, is that he has a reason. Right. He has purpose. Mm-hmm. It's goddamn right. And he wants to achieve his goal. Where Ahsoka has no real, she really doesn't even know. She's like, do we even want to try to go get Ezra? Because it might mean we got to get Thrawn, and it's probably not worth it. Who knows? Like, she's very iffy on the situation, which as she should be, you know, in a very Jedi way. But Stevenson, on the other hand, or Bailyn has his sights set on an end, and he's going for it, and he's not gonna let anything get in his way, clearly, and especially someone without any goals and someone without any passion. That just her one goal is to stop me from accomplishing my goal in life. Like that's something that So. But I love this show. Like, I think I hope that it finishes strong. You know, we're halfway through. We've seen Obi-Wan and some of these shows start really strong and finish like horse shit. Yeah. So hopefully no horse shit coming our way. But so far, so good. Trevor, 4 episodes in, what are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like it's taken this regime over at Lucasfilm a while to kind of find their footing and like the stories that they're trying to tell, which I mean I get to some degree. I think that, you know, there's probably some corporate chicanery going on, but you know, I think it took them a while. They had several little kind of missteps. I think the movies were like sometimes a little not so good. You know, and Disney as a whole, they had a lot of those misfires on their Disney Plus shows where they just kind of, again, felt like they just didn't know exactly how to tell stories in the medium. Whatever those struggles that they've been having, kind of feel like they're kind of coming to an end with this Ahsoka, because I'm not gonna say it's gonna fix and turn around every problem Disney's ever had or is having currently, but it's at least enough to where I'm like, all right, I'm in the swing of this. I actually kind of feel an epic level of storytelling here. You know, some of the things that were missing in a lot of these other, like Disney Plus shows, were the forward movement of character development. There just wasn't a lot of like things causing characters to really need to grow in a real way. You know, I mean, you take Hawkeye, like the whole show, people just staying still. You know, nothing's really happening. No one's changing as a character, as the person going through, because nothing's happening to them that makes them really want to change, which is really boring, you know. But this one, I mean, all of the characters are like given clear reasons why they need to change. They're met with an antagonist with a real purpose and a real goal that's more than just, we should just fight the bad guys, you know. I like the subtle kind of not saying like, you know, democracy or republics are, you know, bad, but, you know, kind of showing how the empire and the republic
are bad.
Clearly right like they're tied up in each other, and until we get into the heart of humanity, it doesn't really matter the system that's running humanity. It just matters that the humanity itself is kind of like messed up, and more than that, they're just looking for somebody to do their hard work for them, you know, and that's kind of clearly what you see. So it's a mixture of that, and then like, I like the questions that they have about, it's like they're moving through. It's like, so you just rehired a bunch of like imperial people, and they're like, yeah, they were clearly loyal to money, duh. Like, and it's it's what tore down the Jedi in the first place is they're always assuming that black-hearted people can only do black-hearted things, you know, like, and that's just what I love, is that this show's kind of like, you know, shows that good intention. There's a line, and it hit me so hard, where they're talking is like, well, they had really good intentions, and Ahsoka's like, well, okay, but you know, sometimes you have the best intentions and the worst consequences. What do you do then? And I think that this show is that's like the thesis of the show, is like, what do you do when your good intentions go really, really wrong? And that's just such a fascinating, because that's what's happening. We know where the story goes at this point. We know it goes back to the First Order, and so we're going back to the Imperial Squad. So we know that that's going on. So I think this is a very clever way to kind of play with that idea, and use our knowledge of where this is to tell a really interesting story. So I'm really stoked to see where this goes because everyone's giving a slamming performance, and it just even in these first 4 episodes, I don't feel the same kind of mistakes that Obi-Wan was making, which sometimes I feel like there's some sort of weird code in Hollywood where they have to like follow certain rules, say certain things to not offend certain people. And as a result, they end up like totally sacrificing a lot of their story possibilities. And in this show, I don't feel like they have that. I feel like they're just telling a good story. They don't need every woman in it to be like perfectly likable and like gets everything done easily. Like the chicks are struggling, like there's a lot of like female people in here and they're all, different kinds of people, but they're like females still, they're not like, I feel like a lot of modern storytelling tries to make women like, instead of just making them strong women, they make them like men. And I feel like the women in this are like badass women. And so I love that too. And as a whole, it ends up telling like a story. It feels like, and I think that's the big thing that's different. Is like this is united around telling a really good and really interesting story. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. It really depends on if it sticks to landing. If it doesn't stick to landing, then it's going to be all of them.
That's what it always comes down to with these Disney Plus series, it seems like, right? I mean, they always start strong. Like, all of them. Moon Knight. Think about so many of them. They even She-Hulk. Like, they all have, like, decently good starts. Like, especially the first episodes. Yeah. Like, I felt like when we sit down and watched almost all, even Hawkeye. Like, even Hawkeye's first episode, we were like, okay.
Let's see what this goes.
Right?
Right, because it starts out with, the first episode starts out with, like, that musical thing, which was freaking hysterical.
Well, it's also very Hawkeye-driven.
Right.
Like it's
right.
You're
starts
seeing
with Hawkeye. Yeah,
like
that's a good point.
like just seeing the just like Obi-Wan did to us.
Right.
Right. Like first few episodes, you're seeing him, being hiding and just dealing with his day to day. Like that's cool. That's what we want to see. What the fuck did he have to deal with? Why he was out there protecting Luke from a distance? Like that's the kind of shit we want to see. And yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna move on. If you haven't checked out Ahsoka, definitely go check it out. Mr. P, definitely go check out Ahsoka. You gotta watch that last episode. But guys, if you have checked it out, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. All right, with that down, we're gonna move into our last main our last main topic today, which isn't even really a topic. It's more of us just kind of hanging out with you guys and chilling. So I'm just curious, what are you guys watching? What is everyone watching? In the chat, let me know. What are you guys watching these days? So it seems like not a lot of you guys are quite movie going people, but I'm curious, when you do watch movies, what are you watching? We're gonna take our lights down here so we're not so burning hot.
That's right. I've got the nice purple look. I feel like I'm in like a Kid Cudi song right now.
There we go. There we go. And chat says nothing. Chat says absolutely nothing. So you're watching nothing, chat.
So you just you're watching us?
Nothing. Yeah, just us. You just have your phones playing while you guys are fucking each other in the back. What's happening?
I'm happy for you. I am.
I want to be.
Right? Maybe our voices are very fuck-worthy, too. Fuck too worthy. There we go.
You guys have very fuckable voices.
Thanks, man. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but I'll
Plus,
take it.
I'm vegan. Oh, shit.
Okay. Oh, I'm ready
for Loki. Oh,
okay.
What'd you think of Loki season 1, man? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm stoked for Loki.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stoked
Loki
for Loki.
Looks dope.
Yes.
Especially if they're going all over the place now. I'm in,
yep.
bro.
Yep. Jonathan Majors looks amazing too.
Man, I hope they figure out whatever situation's going on with that dude.
Yep.
That dude's so freaking talented.
I love Loki. He's my fave. He's your fave. Tom Hiddleston. You like the low key.
He's handsome. And he's dude's talented as hell.
For sure.
I mean,
he's like our modern day. Don't do this, Key. Remember his name. Alan Rickman. He's our Alan Rickman.
Kind of handsome, but a little oily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
if
there was a reboot,
could play Snape.
Come on.
Snape.
Who else would you go for?
No one else.
Dream casting.
That's it. Just him.
Low-key playing Snape.
Oh,
That's
my God. I'll take it. any day.
He's my favorite character to interact with at Disneyland. Low-key. That's fucking hilarious. Why? I want to know why. What does he do? What is he doing? Is he performing like magic? I thought it was my favorite Marvel since Endgame. All right, let's scroll up too. Let's see what we missed here. Because I know. Okay, so yeah, Allison brought up Hocus Pocus earlier. My wife loves that movie. We watched the second one. There's a review up on the channel. One of the worst films I ever seen in my entire existence. I literally might have threw up during it. But one is okay. I get it. I understand, but I'm not the biggest fan. Trevor, you like Hocus Pocus 1?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Good. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need
It's one of those like Halloween Town time movies where I saw Halloween Town as a kid and I loved it, but if I would have missed Halloween Town, I don't need to go back.
I missed
and see
it.
it.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, Austin mentions he says that I'm right and that To Catch a Predator would be way cooler in space. Facts, bro.
Would.
Are you kidding me? To catch an alien predator type shit? Y'all, come on.
Space. The final frontier.
Right.
For pedophiles.
And so, what made you fly your spaceship over here tonight? Why do you have that 6-pack of Kelp Light?
I just I must have the wrong space address.
This fool Mero is the most manly dude that I've ever met in my entire existence. And he said, I don't think I've ever sat down and watched any movie. Just ever. He says your boy falls asleep. Falls right asleep.
Man, you must be one of those dudes that just can't even sit still. That's rough.
And then he said, horror films with a W, Dear John.
That's one of my favorite.
Allison says, Mero, I love Dear John. Mero says, you would, ... Channing Tatum, man.
I'll take The Notebook. I like The Notebook.
That's not Channing Tatum. It's Channing Tate. Yum. Dreamboat for sure. No doubt.
Dude, you've seen...
Hashtag Channing Tatum as Gambit.
In Magic Mike, baby.
Is that the one with Harry Potter? Yes, it was the one with Harry Potter.
Dude
ignored my chat. He's changed. Oh, it's not because I'm running a full fucking live show.
He's changed. He's changed. It's different. It's not right in front of him now. He's running it on real cameras.
Coach Carter? Coach Carter's a great movie, but it's definitely not horror, right? I hope not. I hope
my favorite horror movie is Remember the Titans.
I'm going to be honest. When I was in high school, though, and I played basketball, Coach Carter was a horror. Coach Carter was a horror.
That's funny.
Seriously, a top movie of mine. I love the whole movie. Yeah, Coach Carter's great. Samuel Jackson is the GOAT. A GOAT. Mero, are they talking about Star Trek?
No.
Really, bro?
Do we look like Trekkie? No,
really?
I'm just kidding. I like Trek too. I like Trek. I only just recently got into
All right,
Trek
here we go.
as I've gotten older.
All right, Mr. P says, what are your thoughts on the first half of the trilogy, like specifically The Phantom Menace? Okay. All right, I'm going to just, look, I went to see that in theaters when I was 12, 13 years old. So it was a different world for 12-year-old Key. Yeah. So
this is my first ever movie.
I want to preface everything that I'm about to say by that. The whole first trilogy, or since it's now 1, 2, and 3, those movies, the prequels, are horrible. Mostly all of them are bad. The third one is the best of the bunch, and it's mostly good, but has some really horrible shit in it. But God, I love those movies, man. Wholeheartedly. The other day, Mr. P was playing fucking some Lord of the Rings, just like a little clip off YouTube on his channel. Yeah, and dude, I swear it was like watching a stripper. Like, I immediately found myself, like, I was doing all this other shit, and then I caught it, and I was like,
hey, girl, what you got going on later tonight?
and then after like 2 minutes, I was like, man, fuck this dude, Mr. P, man. Now I gotta watch every one of these.
I gotta watch 9.5 hours of content,
it's like
you
15
son of a bitch.
for me, because I gotta do the extended versions.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus,
So,
it's like
yeah,
12
but
hours, I guess, isn't it?
But yeah, I wouldn't compare it to, the Lord of the Rings, but I would compare it to that, like the nostalgia I have for that. Like I love those movies a lot.
But the difference between the nostalgia of that is that when you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, there's the extra little of it being one of the greatest shows of all time. It's the greatest trilogy, hands down, far and away of anything ever.
Facts.
And every single one of those is one of the greatest movies of all time. Like, so it's by themselves. So it's like
Mero says, I never watched Star Wars. Honestly, yeah, I understand that.
I feel like
it's not everyone's cup of tea.
The prequels for me, I feel that each one of them has like a masterpiece level movie in it, but they all are padded so fully with like just. I mean,
wait,
geez.
hold on. So Mr. P, your favorite Marvel thing since Endgame is Loki. So you didn't like WandaVision? You didn't like it? Okay, yeah, that's wild, man. See, a lot of people love Loki, man. Amazing character, acting top notch, and the story is totally different. Cool, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really like Loki too. Loki's probably like my second. No, it's my third favorite of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Other than the first one would be WandaVision, and second would be Miss Marvel. Love that show. Love Miss Marvel.
She stabbed you in the back and run like at Disneyland. I was like, what does he do? He's like, whap! And just runs away.
I like that.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, what else would he do? Like, try to make you obey him or some shit?
Right.
Like, I could see that maybe.
Just like take your wallet.
That's how the like stormtroopers are. Like, as you're walking by, they're like, hey, stand up straight. You know what I mean? They're like, that better be rebel water or whatever.
Right.
Or Empire water or whatever. It's like, what the fuck?
Imperial
There it is.
Water.
We'll land on it one of these times.
Right. Imperator. Imperial.
Wanda was very good as well. Yeah, WandaVision is definitely my favorite thing since, I would say, since Endgame too. But honestly, I'm more of an Infinity War guy than I am an Endgame guy. I love me some Infinity War. But that being said, just 2 or 3 days ago, I went back and watched Endgame for the first time in a while. And God, I love that movie.
Endgame's great.
So good.
I just feel like Infinity War is just.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, Thanos is one of the great protagonists.
And again,
of all time.
it's one of those movies that ends with all of, not just one. It's not like it ends in Spider-Man Lost, guys. Nah, all of them motherfuckers
I just
lost.
get so tired of the good guys winning. Like, it's not to say like that, I don't love the good guys. It's just I've seen so many movies in my lifetime where the good guys win that like my brain almost checks out a lot of the time. It's like, I know the good guys are going to fucking
Mr.
win.
P, if you like the way they told the story in WandaVision, you should check out a show called Twin Peaks, or check out anything made by a guy named David Lynch.
Yes.
Like all of the shit in WandaVision was heavily inspired by Lynch. Like, it's very Lynchian. It's like a term now because he's so him that there's a genre of him. Like, can you imagine being like so you that they're like, you're just your own genre, bro.
Right.
Like,
people will try to be like you.
People will try to be you,
but no one's ever going to be you.
There's just you.
Right.
But yeah, it's very Lynchian.
Can you imagine someone being better at being Lynchian than Lynch?
No way. I mean, it would be impossible. If it existed, the world would end. Like, it just would. It would.
His walks the line. Just
if it existed while Lynch lived, Lynch would try to kill it.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
he would know. Like, that should be a movie. Like,
that It should be a David Lynch directed movie.
And he would star in it. That's totally a Lynch thing. God damn it! I'm gonna have to send the fucking somebody clip this.
And get it to David Lynch.
God damn it!
Send it to him
Somebody
in the morning,
get this
right
to
after
Lynch.
he does his transcendental meditation. We're in there.
And his weird ass weather reports.
Right.
Today in Los Angeles, where it's always the same. He looks outside of his fucking bay window. Still another 79-degree day. Like, fuck you, David Lynch.
I love David
Fuck you, David Lynch. The weather's all the same. It's always the same.
Damn you, David.
But yeah, it was a lot of that shit was inspired by Lynch. So I would check out Twin Peaks to maybe get you in the realm of Lynch if you've never seen any of it. Because if you start anywhere else, you could be in trouble.
Right. It's like taking like a cold plunge.
Yeah.
You know,
or like
you might like it, but
or
you may
a bad
never
trip.
get in cold things. Right. Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, it could.
It's like taking 6 tabs your first time and just being like, I think this will be okay.
Like, there's an episode of Family Guy where Peter's digging through the dump and he comes across a VHS of Eraserhead. He's like, ooh, look, a VHS of David Lynch's Eraserhead. I can use this for when I want to do nothing for the next 22 days. Because after you watch it, you are going to be in, like, some sort of fucking trance of, like, what the fuck just happened to me for about a month.
Dude, the first time I watched that movie, I was dating a girl. She's like this very like sweet Catholic girl named Jessie, and we had no idea what we were getting into. Okay, they were doing like a run over at like what was called the Palace, which in Wichita is like our old movie theater. You know, like which would mean that they would play like classic movies sometimes, and they were on this run of like a bunch of the great cult classics. And there was this one, and I'd seen most of them. I was watching, like, I was going, like, every week. And we get to this one, and we get in there, and, I mean, halfway through, this girl's like, I can't, and just walks out. And I'm thinking, I should be a good boyfriend. Like, I should just go out there. I should leave this fucking theater. And then I kept watching, and I couldn't stop watching because it's like watching the most glorious, horrifying car wreck. I mean, we're talking like 3 babies in the back seat. 2 of them don't have a seat belt. One tried to grab onto the other, ripped his little baby arm off, and that's what this movie is. It is.
I mean, I watched it my first time with you two, so
yes.
it was.
Yeah, I showed it to you. That was the first time I showed it. Like, Amy hadn't seen it yet either. I went and watched it with the girl I dated before her in theaters, bro. In theaters, I was the first experience. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Hold on. Allison, you watched In-Game on shrooms? For a minute, I thought this was Mr. P. But no, it was you. You watched In-Games on shrooms. Man, I think we all did too, right?
I believe so.
I think we all did. And then...
It was that or acid?
That may be too direct.
Right.
too on the nose there, Trevor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it may not have been Mario food. It may have been paper. Yeah. But either way, the last time I ate some paper, chewed some paper, and we have this thing here called Screen X. And it's like this screen that like goes all the way around you, and it's fucking immersive as shit. And I was tripping sack, guys. I'm talking super sack. Like so hard that I was just like smiling ear to ear the whole time. So hard that my jaws physically fucking hurt in pain. They were like locking up because I was smiling so much. And every person that looked at me was like, the fuck's wrong with this motherfucker? Why the fuck is he so happy? Somebody needs to fucking fuck his world up. The rest of us are not enjoying life in this same way. And honestly, it was like one of the last times I went out in public doing it because I just like, I mean, but still the whole time, I could not stop smiling. I was having the time of my life. Like, I was Captain Marvel, great movie, loved it. Yeah, so, In-Game on shrooms, let's see, where are we at here? Wait, is that the one where Iron Man almost dies in the beginning? Yes, that is Infinity War. That is correct. was such a cool experience in the movie. I have the same critique of movies. You have the same critique of all movies that I do, or like, how's that work? What do you mean? You can see that part before he saved him minutes left, whatever. It's like a whole experience. Oh, yeah, I bet, right? I bet, yeah. Yeah, I did not watch Infinity War tripping. I mean, I have, but not the first time I seen it. Also, can we talk about how Disney took a huge ass turn in their portrayal of Vader in Obi-Wan? Yeah, what huge ass turn? Like a weird ass, shitty, fucking unrelenting, unknowing, undeciding, unpowerful Vader? Yeah. I don't know what you're referring to, my friend. That was fucking terrible. That was so terrible. That fight with him, with the fire.
Yeah, that was
the fire thing. Make more fire.
Right.
You just did it. You could shoot fire out, Vader.
Right. Bro, finish the job.
Right. Fucking kill him.
Right. Good guy.
Jesus Christ. God, I hated that.
Man, yeah.
God, I hate that show.
That show was like watching somebody hit like a sweet routine on like the bars, and then like right as they're at the end, they, on top of their head, paralyzed themselves.
Neck broken and
right,
shit.
right, like never gonna walk again. Like whole audiences there, like the best judges in the world were about to give them a 10. You know, that is that show. Just botched the landing.
The Vader
so
in
bad.
Obi-Wan is the Vader that he always should have been, dude. Yeah, right. You know what? The Vader in Rogue One is the Vader that not only should have been, is that he always was, man. Vader is no punk. Vader doesn't play games. Vader's got no brothers. Anakin was Obi-Wan's brother. Vader don't give a shit about Obi-Wan. He don't give a shit about none of them motherfuckers.
He's a machine.
That's right. He's a cold-blooded killer. He's Freddy fucking Krueger, man.
Right.
He is not to be fucked with, man. And he is the most powerful Jedi to ever fucking live, even though there's only like a torso and an arm of him left.
Right.
Still, so don't give me that bullshit. That portrayal of Vader was weak. That portrayal of Vader was weak, bro. Go watch Rogue One. Go watch him go through that goddamn hallway and Freddy Krueger everyone all over the walls and kill all those men that have family and children to go home to.
With no problems.
Like they don't even fucking exist. That's fucking Darth Vader, my friend. That's Darth Vader. Don't piss me off, Mr. P.
P, don't do it. I will straight leg drop you virtually.
2 on the nose. I mean, my good guy's always winning. Actually, I didn't like the fire scene. Oh, yeah, good. You shouldn't have.
No, it was a dumb
I thought
scene.
Vader was way scarier. What? Have you ever seen the original Star Wars? The very first moment we meet this fool, he's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill this thing right here because I don't care about shit. No. Only thing I have to prove is that nothing else that is like me can exist anymore like me. I'm going to kill every one of those fucking things that even it comes close to being like me. And he's so, again, there's so many midichlorians in this dude's fucking torso that it's enough to beat every fucking Jedi that he comes across. And he could have easily killed Obi-Wan. But they gave us this sob story of like, he still sees him as his brother, bullshit. That's not how it would have happened, man. Those two never seen each other again. They broke canon. Canon says that, like Obi-Wan says it in the very first movie, they had not seen each other since that last duel. It had not happened. They broke canon for that bullshit, and it was terrible. It was fucking terrible.
Right. Right, and I would have maybe been okay with them, like, going back.
Listen, and just so we're clear, I'm not a huge fan of the movie Rogue One, but that version of Vader is definitely a more realistic version of what... have you read any Legends or any of the extended EU shit before they turned it all into Legends? Vader was, dude...
unreal.
Come
scary,
on, bro. Vader was Satan, man. I mean,
Right.
they do not do him justice in Obi-Wan. He is no punk. He's not to be punked with. He would have killed Obi-Wan the second he had a chance.
Right.
The second he would
he's
have.
consumed completely with Vader
Rage.
at this point. Yeah.
He's fire. There's
And his
just
is the
fire
most-
inside of
'cause
him.
He's the one. He would blame him for him being in this stupid suit. You know, like which he would hate.
He is the one that put him in that
Right,
stupid
right,
suit.
right, and so that's what I'm saying is that all of that rage, he has so much rage that he takes like a burning fury across the galaxy, and you're telling me he's not gonna like try and destroy Obi-Wan?
Okay, Mr. P brought up a good point. The scene where Vader grabs the ship, bro.
Oh, okay.
Where the ship's about to fly out and Vader's like,
Oh my god.
epic scene.
Yeah.
Epic scene. Yes.
A lot of good moments in
Again,
that show.
fucking
Like
this
I
is why
said.
the show pisses me off. Because
they
there's
hit a
glimpses
perfect-
of greatness, bro.
They were doing like flips and shit all over the
Man,
bar.
I couldn't.
It was beautiful.
Bro, that I remember when we were watching it, we had to pause it and rewind it like 3 times just to watch him grab that goddamn ship again the way he did.
That's
but
true.
That is, you're right. There is moments of those things.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of weakness between him and Obi-Wan, which again, the ship grab thing is a complete contradiction to what had just happened. Like, if you're gonna grab the ship and destroy it, then why not?
just
Why the
finish him,
fuck
bro?
did you not kill him moments ago when you had the goddamn chance?
Right.
And you let him run the fuck off just to come back and grab him? Like, oh god, gotta do better storytelling.
Right.
Gotta have better writing.
Right, you could because again, what you should have really done, and if you're gonna break the canon, like you could break it in a way that wasn't really breaking canon because you could have just like had Obi-Wan like still whip his ass, like he thinks he's gotten so much stronger over this time, but like really Obi-Wan still beats him, you know?
Right.
And then when he says to him what in the fourth one when they meet again, last time we met, I was the student and you were the master. It could still be true,
Exactly,
you know,
yeah.
like and
Well,
that would
I
be-
guess now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's just like, damn, bro, like in every way, like I mean, there's this guy named the Critical Drinker, which I don't like everything he says, but he talks a lot about how like it just feels like sometimes these dudes is getting emasculated, like it's like they're getting like ripped out of their own show, like and I don't get it. Like I'm like, why are we doing? Like Obi-Wan seemed like an oaf by the end.
No,
of
I
it.
get what you're saying, P. Like, you're not wrong. Like I said, there is moments where you're right that they do give you a menacing Vader, but it's always outside of his interactions with Obi-Wan. And that's, again, it's very contradicting to the character because in 1 minute, yeah, he's murdering innocent civilians to get Obi-Wan to come out. But then, again, it doesn't give that same effort to just murdering Obi-Wan.
Right.
The only way that could have been true is the second Obi-Wan stepped away from that corner, Vader went and he just exploded. Because that is about where it would have been. Like, I mean, again, he's infuriated. He hates Obi-Wan. Remember the scene, bro, where he's like half burnt and his face, remember his eyes, Trevor, are like bulging out of his head and he's like, I hate you.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally
Looks
wants
so evil,
to do.
bro.
You have to understand, Mr. P, that the reason for the Inquisitors, the reason that he hunts Jedi is to get to this one.
Right, so he can kill him.
So he can find
Kill
the one.
him.
He wants to kill this thing so bad, he's going to hunt down everything like it. And he finds it and he's like, I don't know, run off. Maybe I'll chase you a little bit. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here. That makes
What
no
in the
sense. But
world?
you're right. There was
Right.
glimpses of that real dark Vader when he wasn't having interactions with Obi-Wan.
Right, and again, that's not necessarily a bad character arc for some character. You know, like if they were still a conflicted character as to what they were doing with that person, then that's a kind of interesting character arc. But Vader is not conflicted, and he shows himself not to be conflicted multiple times. And the only thing that ever showed him to be conflicted throughout his life was his own damn son. And it was only when his son was being shocked by lightning right in front
And
of him.
about to
Dude
actually
has
decease.
no remorse at all. And it's just like, it's weird that like, I mean, it just, when you do things like that, it's like we mentioned way earlier with One Piece of that. Like, okay, we're in a fantasy world. You have to set up the rules, you have to know the rules, and you have to follow the rules. Because if one of those things falls apart, then we don't care about the rules anymore, and we're like, nothing matters anymore.
Right?
And that's what this circumstance is either this man is the most relentless and ruthless Jedi in the galaxy, or he isn't. And what you've shown me here is that he clearly is not really. You know,
Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it had its moments though. Like I said, it was just like all the other Disney Plus series that end up falling flat on their face. They have decent little moments. So.
Have they? I can only think of WandaVision. To me, pretty much stuck the landing. Had a really good landing
all the way through.
And then Miss Marvel. Also had like a fantastic all the way. Loki ended pretty good. It was like kind of like a. If we're talking about that same gymnastics, yeah, right. You know? Like they had a fantastic routine and they kind of stumbled on the landing, but it still was pretty good ending.
Loki, in my opinion, stumbled more towards the middle. Like,
yeah,
it started strong. Episode 1 or 2, you're like,
oh yeah, that's
damn, bro, this might be better than WandaVision.
Right, we were all saying that.
And then like 3 or 4 is where we had those ones where the story didn't progress, where you have the Lokis loving on each other, which I think is just fucking weird and just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But the story never really progresses. We start with the moon crashing, we end with the moon's gonna crash, and I think those is where it got weak. But then it finished strong again. You know, you got Jonathan Majors coming in as He Who Remains, as this Kang variant, and we hadn't seen Majors yet, right, in this role, and he fucking killed it. I mean. And having Owen Wilson cool. back in our lives is such a necessary thing that I didn't know that we all needed, but I definitely need more. No, wow.
Me and Wes Anderson are gonna go make a small independent
77th movie together. Wow.
But I'm gonna get my brother for this
one.
He's
contractually obligated to have 3 wows. Perfect. It's funny in the Loki series, they actually did the opposite. They contractually made it to where he couldn't
say wow.
Yeah, they didn't want it to. They're like, no, we don't really want that.
We want you, Owen, but we don't want the wow.
We're trying to get away from that version of you.
I'm trying to change my image a little bit from wow to whoa.
He said, dude, the scene in Loki when he found the Infinity Stones of the Destroyer had me. Right. Remember all of us when that happened, bro? Bro, when this happened, when we watched all of these, every episode for 8, 10 of these series, it'd be all of us at 2 a.m. crowded into basically a studio half this fucking size and watching it all together. I'm telling you, 10 of us, and we'd be shook every fucking time, man. Every time one of those scenes like that happened, or the end of WandaVision episode 2 when she looks at him and is the fucking chunk is missing from his head.
Oh my god!
And he's like, "What's wrong, dear?" And you're just God.
That show is so good, bro.
Fuck.
I freaking love WandaVision.
But Loki had those moments. That stone drawer moment was one of those moments that we paused it and we're all just like, what does this mean?
Right.
What does this mean?
Where
and we
are
still really don't know what it means.
Right. I'm still asking that question. I have lots of tension in my back because of it.
But of all the ones that we've seen, it was the most deserving of a sequel because it has more of a setup and it's more I think involved in the grand scheme of things too in the MCU, where WandaVision was really more of a setup for Doctor Strange too, and Loki I really think is going to. I think we may end up with Loki being what actually resets everything, and gets us to a whole new type. I hear rumors now that they're going to reset the MCU at the end of the Kang Dynasty and all that stuff. And if so, it literally is Loki then that
it's gonna do it.
That started that, kicked that whole. I mean, by them killing He Who Remains,
they restarted everything.
Yeah, it literally caused the whole thing. So, pretty interesting. pretty interesting. But as Ali was in here earlier saying she loves Loki, I would just say like he is a fan favorite. People love Tom Hiddleston's Loki. They really do. Like, remember when they brought him out for in like 2010 when they're announcing the Avengers or whatever, 09, at CinemaCon or Comic-Con or whatever. They bring Tom Hiddleston out onto the stage with the fucking, they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the villain of the Avengers movie. And they bring him out on stage and everyone's just like, and they ever since that pop, they randomly will bring him back just because people go fucking wild at Comic-Con and shit when they see him. Yeah, baby. Like he just looks like Loki, man, and like people love that. Like they really do.
He's got that like twinkle in his eye, like Loki does too. Just great.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was a great scene. But all right, guys, that's probably gonna do it. Look, I really appreciate you guys being here, the few that were here as long as you guys were. I appreciate it. It's been fun. Like I said, usually we don't stream this late, and it's been like 3 months since we've streamed. So I didn't expect a ton of people, if any, to be here. And I'm just glad that you guys were here and we got to talk about some movies. So Mr. P, Mero, Ali, all of you guys, whoever's left in here, thank you so much. I will see you guys soon. I'll probably do a stream, whatnot stream here sometime tomorrow or the next day or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But until then, I've been joined today by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Trevor Farney. Trevor, where can people find you at, buddy?
Usually on the bridge underneath the bridge on McCormick Street. But if you're talking about social media, you can find me just on Instagram at the Mad Making Mind Productions.
Awesome.
Just like that.
And guys, you know where you can find me? Right there is my Twitter or whatever you want to call it now. X. Whatever the fuck. Go follow me at Keaton Toothman. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And real quick, before we get out of here, I just want to say one more time, thank you guys for all being here. I really do appreciate it. So we will see you guys next time. We're going to try to get on a somewhat regular schedule. Again, it's really difficult with the strike. At least I guess we could talk about Ahsoka and Loki coming up. There's some things here and there.
Maybe just start watching some shows or something.
Yep, I guess that's kind of where we're at. So, but yeah, stay tuned. Look out for future streams. Make sure you subscribe. And I appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you guys next time.